Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio, biz talk for biz owners. If you're ready to stop faking the funk and take your business onward and upward, this show is for you. And now, here's Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mr. Biz Radio. Me, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth. Guys, have you ever been in a life-threatening situation? Hopefully you haven't. Maybe you have. Maybe you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. Maybe you got, well, I just saw this thing. You keep seeing these things about these nut jobs that are jumping off cruise ships. Like, are you getting too drunk? Like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, it makes me want. So, our guest this week, if you've been in a situation like that, may have saved your life. So, our guest this week is none other than Dr. Rob Yonover. He's a scientist, inventor, and Shark Tank alum whose innovations aim to save lives when the stakes are highest. From ocean survival to simple field-tested gear, Rob blends hardcore science with real-world practicality. Today, we'll unpack innovation under pressure, lessons from Shark Tank, and how to de-risk bold ideas from lab to marketplace. Dr. Yonover, welcome to Mr. Biz Radio.
Hey, Ken. Thanks a lot. It's great to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I got to tell everyone, the producer Alan and I are a little bit jealous. Dr. Yonover is coming to us from Hawaii.
Yes.
So we're in cold Columbus. The weather's turned cold here, a bit cold. It's nice, it's fall, but it's a little chilly. And
Right.
Dr. Yonover is in Hawaii, so we'll just have to live with it. We'll live vicariously through you, Dr. Rob.
Someone's got to live here.
Yeah. I'm glad you're
No,
taking one for the team.
exactly. It's tough, but after 41 years, I'm still pushing the rock up the hill.
Yeah, there you go. So, Dr. Yonover, before we get into all that and all this cool stuff I want to talk about, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I was, my parents were entrepreneurial, and we were taught to be creative. And there was a sign in our house, a little poster that said, "Just say no to real jobs," and that was like our family mantra. So if you got a real job, you were kind of a disappointment to the family. So, and then I was a scientist, and I got this scientific mind. I got a PhD working on volcanoes, geochemistry, but I'm always creating and inventing. Our other mantra is never buy anything at a store, make everything yourself. So I was flying in a inner island on a rented plane. My friend was a pilot. I thought we were going to crash. I looked down and see nothing but blue water, and then realized if we crash, it's not going to be a good ending. I could maybe swim to the shore, but not everyone could swim that far. And I looked into flares, smoke, sea dye, which is what they normally have. And that stuff all goes away quickly. A couple of weeks later, I flew back to Florida, Miami, where Christo, the artist, had wrapped the Biscayne Bay Islands in pink plastic. And I said, if I could just get a piece of that pink plastic, they would see me. It took me years to figure out to make spreader bars along the longitudinal line of the streamer. So it's a long orange piece of plastic with struts, so it twists like a centipede instead of curling up. And that was 40 years ago. And I'm the classic tortoise and the hare. I am the tortoise. I keep moving forward and not quitting. And all along, the other mantra is never quit your day job. You got to have funding to fund your entrepreneurial ventures, because they all take twice as long and twice as much money.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's almost like they're very akin to, I always say, any house projects, right? Your wife says, "Oh, this needs fixed," or that, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's going to take me 2 hours," and 4 hours later, and 3 trips to Home Depot, it's like, oh,
right.
But very similar, also on the entrepreneurial side of things. So I guess when you think about this, so I was going to ask, like, what sparked the first idea of what to invent something. Obviously, you mentioned that. So when you design survival gear, so obviously you've moved on and you've done several other pieces after that.
Right.
What sort of principles guide you? If it has to work in the midst of chaos, what are some of the must-haves and maybe never-dos?
Well, for me, I'm an ocean guy. I'm a big wave surfer. I fish in rough water, and it's such a violent, tough environment. Salt water, sun. So things have to be simple. And I long to create things that don't use batteries, chemicals, or electronics, all the things that fail. And the other thing I do in parallel is to look at what nature does. I'm into biomimicry. So how would nature solve this problem? Nature is billions of years old. We're just a little blip on the screen. So I look to nature for inspiration, and then I try to invent things that are really tough, resilient, but simple. And my overall theme is simpler is better. And I know that's kind of counterintuitive in today's technology complex world, but it's true. And this little piece of plastic I designed is used all over the world to save lives. It's even under the ass of every SpaceX astronaut. So it's a classic example of simpler is better. And I really think that guides me, because when I look at something that's complicated, I'm not that interested. I mean, especially in the patent world, and I live by patents and intellectual property. If you design something very complex, you can it's much easier, ironically, to design around it. Whereas if it's simple, it's so broad, it gives a broad patent claim, which is what you want. And that's why I'm talking to you here and not working for someone else on a Tuesday morning.
Right. So you mentioned some of these things, obviously saving lives and et cetera. Give us an example. Tell me a time when your product that your product, one of the products you've designed is sort of made a difference. Well,
I mean, I don't really see it in action, but I hear about it. And I was at a trade show with some military guys, and a guy came up to me and he thanked me for saving his life. And that was golden. I mean, I never felt better than that. And I even shared that with the Shark Tank guys, who I thought would gush over that, because I got that high from someone saying, "Thank you, you saved my life. The streamer was great. We were in Afghanistan, and we had to get to a clearing and got helicoptered out, and we used the streamer, and because we didn't use flares, no one else saw us, and they got us out. Thank you." So, because it works on land also. So, and that happened a couple times. There was a diver here that told me a story, and these are only some of the stories I've heard. But I've seen it in action when I'm actually in demonstrations showing it. And I love the people's faces when I tell them, where's your flares, your smoke, your sea dye, which all goes away. Even your electronic devices, EPIRBs, or even your phone only tells you the general area. You're still a speck. They still need a visual. If they know where you are, it's really hard to see you, even if they know where you are, because your head's as big as a coconut floating in the water or a rock on a hill. So it's really cool to get people the message, and for their light to shine and say, "Oh, I get it," and then also for them to use it is also the ultimate.
Yeah, I can't imagine how good that would feel to have someone say, literally, "You saved my freaking life." I mean, It's funny. The first time I went on a trip, and we were renting a catamaran, and this is almost sound like the biggest wimp in the world, but I was like, we go out on this thing, and I'm like, I don't want to be far enough away that I can't see land. Like, I don't want to be out like too far away, because my thought was, if I can see land, I can probably float/swim to it. I get far enough out to where, because it kind of freaked me out a little bit, especially, and again, I'm going to sound like a wimp to someone like you, but especially out in the middle of the ocean and at night when it's pitch black, there's only moonlight, and you're looking out there like we've been on cruises before, and you got on the deck and you're like, holy crap, like we are in the middle of nowhere, like,
Absolutely. It's freaky. And the currents, you may see land, but you'll never get there if the currents
well, that's the other part of it. It scared the crap out of me too. Yeah. Guys, we're going to hit a break here again, talking with Dr. Rob Yonover. You can find him on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and check out his YouTube channel. You can also go to his website, crescue.com. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Come back, we're going to talk a little bit about his Shark Tank experience.
If you would like to reach hundreds of thousands of business owners every week, Mr. Biz Radio can help. Our show airs globally 7 days a week for more than 25 hours across several internet radio stations, plus 20 plus podcast platforms. Also, video exposure on the new exclusive Mr. Biz Network streaming channel, which gets blasted to 100 plus streaming platforms, and the Mr. Biz YouTube channel, and our 350,000 social media followers multiple times every week. Join Mr. Biz Nation as an advertiser by emailing us at info@MrBizSolutions.com.
Attention, Mr. Biz Nation. We have an exclusive offer just for you. Get lifetime access to scarcity countdown timers and logic links for only $69. Yes, you heard it right. Only $69. These tools will add urgency to your email campaigns and website pages, helping you increase conversions, sales, and capture more leads. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Visit getpulsetools.com now and take your business to new heights.
Check out all 3 of Mr. Biz's best-selling books at MrBizBooks.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. Dr. Yonover, let's dive into this. I know you're on Shark Tank. I know you've been on TV, on Discovery Channel, et cetera, et cetera. We've had a bunch of people that have been on Shark Tank, though, so I'm kind of curious to hear, kind of soup to nuts, what your experience was like on Shark Tank.
Well, we signed a 50-page agreement, not saying too much about it. But what I can tell you is it's real. I mean, a lot of people say, well, the producers never say, hey, that sounded good. Could you say it this way a little more emphatically? No. I walked in there, hundreds of cameras, millions of people watching. I knew, ultimately, and they didn't know anything. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. I knew who they were from TV, but they just had a little piece of paper saying my name, and I started the pitch, and I was in there like an hour. So what you see is only 7 minutes, and there was no one else talked to anyone. It was just me and the 5 sharks, and like I said earlier, it was a little shocking to me that they didn't get the aspect of saving lives versus money. And so my initial thought was, these guys are greedy. I mean, how much money's enough, Mark Cuban? Come on, man.
Right.
You got billions of dollars. You don't want to save some lives and feel that feeling I felt? And I thought for sure there was going to be a bidding war. So I priced my ask very low, I thought, and I didn't get that at all. And they all went out. But the good news is they all liked it on national TV and said, this is great. This is going to save lives. So I could never have built a better TV commercial. And CNBC has aired it like 100 times. It was like 7 or 8 years ago. And then recently someone took my pitch, made it a 1-minute pitch on YouTube, and it's trending now. It has 58 million hits. I'm barely on social media, and I got totally viral on YouTube and even TikTok. Someone else did the same a few years ago. So it has a life of its own. It's the greatest PR thing I've ever done. And it was a big risk, though. I mean, you can really, it's heavy. I've given talks with my PhD and all over the world to technology, military groups. So I'm pretty good at defending myself and my technology. But it's me against 5 people, and they're all trying to appear smart and quick. So it was really harrowing. And I held my own. And I think that a lot of people catch a lot of shit because they don't hold their own. And, one of the things I did was I asked Mr. Wonderful to help unfurl the streamer for 2 reasons. One is he always gives everyone shit, and this woman from Hawaii called a deer in the headlights about to get smashed. So, this woman was petrified and horrified after, and I had to talk her down from the ledge. So I thought, I'm going to get this guy back. So I got him to unfurl the streamer. I knew he was short, so I could look down on his bald head. And I knew when they unfurled the streamer and he went out down the hallway that they would make fun of him and make jokes, and they did. So, yeah. Mr. Wonderful, sorry about that, but it was a payback for everyone that you hassled.
So what I was going to say, what surprised you the most? It sounds like what surprised you the most was they didn't really get it.
Yeah, first of all, they barely got it. It was really hard to explain to them, which, Mark Cuban is a smart guy. He got it immediately. The other people didn't really know how it worked till, of course, I had the before and after pictures. And that, if you don't understand that, this is you without it. This is you with it. This is your brain on crack. This is your brain not on crack. It's the same thing. Without it, you can't see anything in a big blue ocean or big mountain. With it, there's a little orange stripe. So that was surprising. And then I realized that they're making a TV show. So they're going to try to say smart things as they exit. They go, and for that reason, I'm out. So it was just surprising that and I knew it was about money and deal making. I just thought that they would put that aside a little for the overall cause. And I'm still disappointed because think about it. You know how many people, the thing about, I've interviewed a lot of people that have been lost at sea. And even if you look at the media, they are in the mountains. They always say the same thing. You flew over me 5 times. Why didn't you see me? Okay, so think about that. Those are the lucky people that lived and said that. You know how many people died and said that to themselves? Why don't they see me? Why don't they see me? So in the 7 or 8 years since I filmed, more people probably have been flown over because they didn't have a streamer. And I'm thinking, and I'm not saying the sharks are responsible for this, but they could have moved forward. And the other mistake I made was I said, we got to go all the way for a mandate, which is one of the things you go for. So they thought I was going a home run only. But I was saying in parallel, you do your marketing to the consumers and the military, but you also try to get it mandated for all life rafts, for all flight jackets, for all life jackets, which it should be. And it will be probably when I'm dead and there's like a bunch of competitors, then it will be. And that's okay. I'm at the point in my life where sometimes when you birth an idea, it's not just birthing it and controlling it. It's actually letting it prosper. Just like kids. You talk about your daughter before. It's just, I want my kids to prosper, and my inventions are my kids. So even if they don't prosper for me, let them prosper on their own. So one day this thing will be huge and I'll be dead. And I'll say, yeah, that guy was fighting for this for 100 years out of Hawaii. I remember him.
So from your experience on Shark Tank, did you, as you left there, have you changed your pitch to try to make it, not have the same challenges or anything?
You know what I learned right away after that is I'm tired of pitching. And I realized also after that, I don't want their money, because if you take their money, if you take anyone's money, then you have a partner. Then you have someone hassling you. They don't hassle you. They're supposed to help you. But the truth is, the more you dilute your ownership or control, and I'm an old guy now. I don't want some 25-year-old kid that works for Mark Cuban calling me every week saying, how's it going? And how come you're not going to a trade show in Albuquerque or wherever? I mean, I don't want that. So, and then the guy that makes my big wave surfboards on the North Shore, he asked me, he goes, I was looking for a licensing is my thing. I licensed it for years. And he goes, why? He goes, why do you license it? Do you know how to make them? I go, yeah, I invented how to build them. He goes, well, build them yourself and keep all the money. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Also, not going in debt, keeping it small, lean and mean, and expandable as needed, depending on the order size, is the smart way to do it. And it's a long play. It's a classic tortoise and the hare. I get a big order, then it's kind of quiet. So to have a huge staff, that's hard to do because you have to pay people to do nothing sometimes. So yeah, I learned a lot from that, and I'm still. It was a risky experience because they could have grilled me on national TV. I held my own, and and it keeps paying dividends because every time it's on CNBC or YouTube, my Amazon sales do well. So it's all PR. And my brother used to call me the king of PR, or I like to call myself a media whore. Whatever your choice is. I mean, I'll go on any show as long as they spell my name right,
Yeah, there you go.
Steven. So I've learned a long time ago to work with the media, because also you included, you're a third party person. I don't pay you to tell the audience how good this invention is. So when they see it in Outside Magazine, I even got it in Playboy, Boating, wherever it is, it's not an endorsement, but it's not a paid ad. So it's way better. So I think that really helps.
Well, I mean, to your point, I mean, it's not a direct endorsement, but it's an implied endorsement. Right. Because I've had to, even with our show, like I'm very careful about things that we have on the show, because I don't, I feel like it's an implied endorsement a lot of times, and I want to make sure I'm not like implying my endorsement to some shady, crappy thing.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
All right, guys, we're gonna hit another break here again, talking with Dr. Rob Yonover. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about how to commercialize safety tech, how tough that is, and how to navigate those waters.
How would you like to have direct access to Mr. Biz to help you run your business more profitably and more efficiently? At MrBizSolutions.com, you get live access to not only Mr. Biz, but also several of his hand-picked and trusted business experts, each with 20 plus years of experience to help you optimally manage and grow your business. That's just the start of where Mr. Biz Solutions begins. Learn more at MrBizSolutions.com. That's MrBizSolutions.com.
Attention, Mr. Biz Nation. We have an exclusive offer just for you. Get lifetime access to scarcity countdown timers and logic links for only $69. Yes, you heard it right. Only $69. These tools will add urgency to your email campaigns and website pages, helping you increase conversions, sales, and capture more leads. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Visit getpulsetools.com now and take your business to new heights.
Got a question for Mr. Biz you want answered on air? Email it to info@MrBizSolutions.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Great conversation here with Dr. Yonover. I do want to talk about, the difficulties with commercializing, safety tech and things like that, and what obviously right in your wheelhouse. But I do want to touch on something you said earlier. You said it in a funny way, but it is, I think, an important point. You self-proclaimed yourself as a media whore, which fine, whatever. No, but in all honesty, it is important, and I agree with you. Grant Cardone always says the best known product is not what is successful. Or he said the best product is not always the one that's most successful. It's the best known product. And when people hear that, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Does McDonald's have the best burgers in the world? Do you go there because you're like, oh my gosh, they are the best burgers ever?" No. But they're everywhere. Everyone knows McDonald's. They're the best known. They're on every freaking corner globally, right? And so I think media is very important. Obviously, you've been very successful in getting into big media, been on shows and things like that. What are some of your secrets to that, Dr. Yonover?
Well, first of all, in parallel, I always try to protect my IP first. Own the name, own the patent. Then I can go public. When I go public, I'm a fisherman too, so I don't want one line in the water. I want 100 lines in the water. So in the olden days, when fax machines were happening, I used to fax at 11:01 because that's when it was cheaper to make phone calls in Hawaii. And I have a one-page fax press release, and I had these World Aviation Directory or Bacon's Publicity Checker, all the marketing people from all the magazines, and I just send out 100 faxes. And then I get one bite. And if that led to an article, the Miami Herald was the first one, then I sent that out 100 times. So you got to keep pitching, and you can't be disappointed to get the phone slammed down in your face, And I like to consider myself a polite pain in the ass. I'm very polite, and I'm a pain in the ass, and I'm persistent. I'm going to keep calling you. It took me 3 years to get Outside Magazine to write about it because I kept calling till finally they said, "Oh, let's do it." And they had a little slot for a little piece. The other thing I do is I let people like yourself, professionals, run with stories. I don't micromanage people. Here's the streamer. You tell the people about it in your own words. And I think it was Men's Journal that wrote, Gilligan's Island would have been one episode if they had the Sea Rescue Streamer. That was awesome. I didn't think of that. And because I didn't, and of course, media guys, you can't really micromanage, but just even your own team, you want to be open to new ideas and let people run with what they're good at. And, I'm always looking for opportunities for exposure, and, any press is good press, right? So I'm looking for good press, but, I'll take bad press. That's rare, but, you just want to get it out there. And if you believe in your product and your technology, you have no fear to get it out there, right? And it just leads to good things. And also you never know what it leads to. I'm a big lover and hater of trade shows. I don't really like them, but I go to them because that's where everyone is. And that's where a little guy like me can shave and put on a suit and tie and rub elbows with generals, admirals, and CEOs. And, that was a big part of my success, is working trade shows, just walking the floor with a streamer in my pocket till I had enough money and wherewithal to have my own booth. And now people come around my booth and they're pitching me or looking at my stuff. And I also created a good line, maybe for your listeners that have trade shows. Never say, you can do it if you want. When someone passes your booth, you don't say, "Hello, how's it going? Can I help you?" No one wants, if you say hello, they'll say hello. If you say, "Can I help you?" No one wants help like that. So these 4 words, have you seen this? If they say no, then you tell them about it. If they say yes, you say, well, you haven't seen the lighted fighter pilot auto deploy unit yet. So you always, that's an engagement line, very simple, and it really works well. And I think that it's just like the media. You have to have a hook, and it's getting harder and harder in this media world with all the social media to get exposure with all the noise that's out there. So And I'm welcome to anyone who has an idea for me on that.
Yeah, no, I love that because you're right. I literally just had a client that went to a trade show and we were kind of brainstorming, and they go to this trade show, I think is every other year. It's like the huge one in their industry. So they go every year, and they were talking about, I said, what's the strategy? And they're telling me like the same old crap you see, like you're saying, oh, if someone walks by, hey, how's it going? Like, you want a flyer? Like, no, I don't. I got 100 of them, right? So I'm like challenging them for a different type of approach, like what you're talking about. I love that.
Thank you.
So again, I mentioned this at the end of the last segment, but I can't imagine that the difficulty of, sort of commercializing, bringing some of these ideas to fruition. How do you navigate, the patents, the manufacturing, the distribution, et cetera, without sort of diluting, your overall mission?
Right. It's such a long haul. You have to be so patient. That's why I say don't quit your day job, because it takes so long. And in the case of the streamer, I was always confident. Like 40 years ago, when I thought about it, I go, this is right. I don't care how long it takes me to get this. This is going to save lives. So I had that confidence in it. So every time the military shut the door in my face, I said, okay, I'll go to a different door. They just don't get it yet. So you have to have that perseverance. That's first and foremost. And I think you have to look at niches too. And for me, ironically, the Navy, they were the first to approve it, but they still have been lukewarm about it. Whereas the Air Force, I would never have thought this. The Air Force is more safety conscious for their own guys. When their guys go down and eject out of an aircraft, they are much more into the safety gear, being able to be signaling. And I didn't know that, but because I kept knocking on different doors, I found my niche. And the other thing is, don't go for the huge niche. A small niche is enough to run a business. A lot of people want to be McDonald's, and really what they need to be is a hamburger place that services this one community, right? Start there. And I also like this, everyone, like even the Shark Tank thing, everyone wants to build a mega company. I don't. I want to build, and they put you down for this and say, oh, you're a lifestyle company, you're a hobby. But what are we all about? We want to have a good lifestyle. We want to contribute something positive. And sometimes smaller is better. I have a lot less headaches running a small company than I would working for Boeing, or if I worked with someone huge. I mean, there's just too much red tape. You can't. Yeah. And for me, creatively, I want to do my own thing on my other inventions. I invented a pocket flotation device, a portable desalinator, inflatable rescue board, video search and rescue. All that stuff would never have happened if I was pigeonholed and put in a, in terms of with a big company, and I was forced to put 60 hours a week with them. So that's kind of how I did it. But it's a long, you got to be persistent, and you got to have patience. I mean, I don't know. It's hard though, because if you're relying on that to make your living, how do you do that? And that's where you got to have a day job.
Yeah. Well, not only that, to your point too, Dr. Yonover, if you were working with a Boeing, your partner with a Boeing, even if they did give you the artistic or creative license to go create other things, then they're going to be in the pockets on all those, right?
Exactly.
So they're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, you're a creative guy. Go ahead and create those things, and we want 50% of all of those, right? And you're like, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with the original thing I partnered with you on.
Exactly. And deep down, I'm an artist. I'm a scientist, but I want to create stuff that's new, unique, and I thought of it. That's what I want. And as an inventor, you have to be careful not to partner and team with too many people, even early on. And I like to invent alone, but build together. You know what I mean? So I invent it alone, protect it, brand it, and then when I have control of it, then I go out and get partners that can help me build it and market it and deliver it around the world.
Yeah, and super important. And, the whole patent thing, we didn't really get too much into that, obviously, but, the IP, I know you mentioned, and I love that. Before you start getting the publicity and everything, you got to do the IP piece of it. Super, super important. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you kind of end up screwing yourself over in some cases, because people just copy your freaking ideas and steal it essentially. So, but Dr. Yonover, we're out of time here, but I really appreciate you coming on the show. Fascinating information. My pleasure. Thanks for having me. That was great. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and don't forget, as always, cash flow is king.
To become part of Mr. Biz Nation, follow him on all social media platforms or never miss a show by going to MrBizRadio.com. If you prefer free video content, visit the Mr. Biz YouTube channel or check out his streaming channel, which is available on 100 plus streaming platforms at MrBizNetwork.com.